So I don't do these build videos as often because a lot of times I'm doing builds now that are pretty simplistic, right? I'm basically switching up some stuff. I'm not doing anything that's super unique. But in cases where I do something that's really kind of extra unique or extra kind of, I don't know, extra just different, I thought I'd go ahead and show you and talk to you a little bit about it. So I had an EMERBU TG ARP9, the short version, the original version, and I had an old CGen MCX, or at least the pieces of the MCX around. I thought, let me see what I can do with those because so the MCX handguard is kind of a nice. It's a long kind of handguard like this that doesn't really work well for any type of V2 blaster, but I did find out that it can basically you can fit the ARP9 TG into it, right? So you could fit it into this with some modifications, obviously. So I thought, well, that'd be kind of cool. Let me go ahead and put this MCX on top of it, kind of. And so that's kind of what I'm doing here, and that's what I'm going to show you a little bit about, right? So the nice thing with these TG blasters, these sandwich-style blasters, is there's usually a little more room inside them than there is inside any V2 gearbox blasters, okay? So we got the Gen 8.5 gearbox in here. Did go ahead and put an M95 spring in it just to bump it up because why not, right? Put a longer metal inner barrel. And one thing that's unique with these, at least it has been so far, is regardless of barrel size and length, I should say, you still get really good performance out of them. A lot of times when you go to a much longer inner, and you're not porting your cylinder, you're going to have some issues. You're going to really lose FPS, but for some reason that's not happening with these ones. As I've shown you before, like some of the original EMERBU TG ARP9 mods I did where I put like a new really long handguard on them, you still get some great FPS. So I thought, let's go ahead and let's do the same thing here. So anyway, what I did is I want to show you the inside. So the inside doesn't always look pretty for a couple of reasons. We'll talk about that. Got some different pieces that I had to go ahead and glue in here. So I used an outer from the MCX, the CGen MCX, right? Was able to go ahead and make that fit, use some 3D printed pieces, glue them in there nice. But then I also end up melting a lot of things in nice because even though the super glue is there, melting things together makes them just stronger and better. So it doesn't always look super pretty on the inside, but it's going to be more stable. It's going to give it more, it's just going to be better for it in the long run, right? So anyway, what I did here was put that in, right? Melted it in. Obviously, you can see a couple different things. We got some rivet nuts in multiple places, and that's going to be where we can lock the kind of handguard on, okay? So we got some rivet nuts here, rivet nuts on each side, on top. This nice piece extends out in here. That's going to go all the way out in here, and there's going to be a spot here. We're going to have a nice little dual canted piece here that's going to go on. This isn't screwed down yet, but those pieces are going to go there. That's going to lock that on nicely. All right. Back here, I wanted to go ahead and use a buffer tube. I had one last Gen 8 buffer tube. I thought, well, I can make it. It actually lines up really nice with the ARP9. So I was able to make it work out where it's going to lock into place right here. But I had to go ahead and kind of fuse a rivet nut in here, and then of course fuse a rivet nut right here so it can lock right in. Now you'd still be able to use the factory sliding kind of stock on there. I had another TG ARP9 tack buffer tube, which you would think would have fit on perfect, but actually it does not. It's slightly different dimensions. So even though it's TG, even though it's basically the same blaster, just a longer handguard and has a buffer tube, that one does not slide on there perfect. So I went with this route instead. So that's what we got going on inside here. Okay, so thought I'd show that to you first. We'll get it all put together. We'll try it out. Hopefully we got some really good FPS, and I think it's going to look really cool. Obviously got a cool little grip out here. But I think I'm also going to maybe try to custom make a cool grip that allows you to store a spare drum mag. So you can have a drum mag here plus a spare drum mag out here, and I think it'll look really cool. Hopefully that works out. You'll notice when I post a final video, whether that worked out or not. Obviously, I'll talk about it. But anyway, questions, comments, post them below. Like, subscribe, share my channel with your friends, participate in those YouTube contests when they're live. Thanks.